It is time to play our weekly game called What's It Worth? We ask antiques expert Dr. Lori the value of 5 items chosen from the PTL mailbox.
Dr. Lori joins us now. Dr. Lori, did you hear it's National Goof Off Day?
I like that. I think we need a week of that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you're right.
We all work too hard. I think we need a week of that. I'm not saying don't work at all. I'm just saying a week, vacation.
I agree, Dr. Lori. All right, well, your first item looks a little bit worn, but there's a nice backstory behind it.
Yeah, it's a nice backstory. This is a 1920s rosewood and upholstered chair. And there's actually a photo that Donna sent in with this chair. I don't know if our graphics have it or not, but the baby in the photo of the people sitting in the chair is actually Donna. There you go.
Oh,
so there's
wow.
the chair, and there's the person who is a baby sitting in the chair with her family. And the chair's been in the family a long time, and it looks like it could use a little tender, loving care. But again, reupholstering antiques is not difficult. There are a lot of very skilled reupholsterers who can do this work. What do you think? Rosewood was very popular in the early years of the 1900s. This chair dates to just about 1920.
Is that a green kind of felt material, or what is that?
It looks like a green velvet,
Velvet.
red and green velvet, very popular in the early years of the 20th century.
I'm looking at the curves of this, Dr. Lori, and that's what makes it stand out to me. Like, it's really ornate and interesting. And I mean,
Yes.
Is this something that people would be in the market to collect now? I mean, we know furniture generally holds its value pretty well.
A lot of people like these pieces. If you'll notice the scroll work on the
Right.
side, that top is called a crest rail, and it was all carved in. You can see what's called a plenty motif. So it's flowers and it looks like a horn of plenty. It relates to prosperity in the roaring 20s. It's very typical of that time period. There are a lot of people out there who might really like this chair. All you got to do is get some reupholstery on it.
It looks
Yeah.
good. I love it.
You know what? It could look really good.
Yeah, I think
You know
so.
what? Hold on.
I'm going to stick with my guess here.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to say $300.
I'm going to say $400.
Mikey is right at $300.
All
right,
in its
David, you
current
better watch
condition.
out.
All right, you know what? I had 300 on here, and I moved it up to 400 because I fell in love with the chair. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks,
yeah.
Dr. Lori. All right, next up is the Japanese nativity set, and this was sent in by Virginia. So tell us about this, Doctor.
Well, it was very, very typical in the middle part of the 20th century for these mass-produced nativity sets to come from Japan. So as a result of World War II, you're going to see a lot of these types of figurines and such coming in. Oftentimes, they'll also come with that manger structure, actually, that sort of barn structure. But of course, 3 wise men and Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus, a donkey, and usually there's another cow and then some lambs, and of course, a shepherd with a sheep. Very, very typical. If you look at the bottom, they're all standing on sort of little green bases, and that's how you would know whether or not you have a direct set by the base.
And these are all hand painted?
Yeah, they're hand painted. They're molded. So they're a low quality ceramic, but they're molded and then they are painted. Very, very typical in the United States. They'd be, imported in, and then they basically would be utilized at holiday. They were oftentimes sold by Woolworth and Company, if you remember that.
Woolworth,
that
yeah.
firm, that
And you
that
used
store,
the word
yeah.
typical, so I'm going to say...
Typical,
drop
honey. A
my-
lot of them out there.
I don't want to let Virginia down, so I want to assign some value to it, and I don't want to go too low because I do think it's unique. But go ahead.
I'm going to go $75.
I said $35.
$100 for all of it,
Wow.
including the structure.
Wow. Okay, that
Yeah.
actually
right.
was a surprise for
Yeah,
me.
see?
And Mikey, you are out ahead.
I'm rolling here.
2 rolling for Mikey right